Next inductee is number 52, Jeremy Clingner. Graduating class of 2003, Jeremy was a standout representative of BHS in 2 sports and earned a total of 6 varsity letters in wrestling and football. In football, Jeremy was a 2-time first-team All-GWAC selection, was selected to the Miami Valley All-Star team, and earns All-Southwest District Special Mention. And in wrestling, Jeremy made the GMVWA All-Area First Team, was a 2-time GWAC champion, was the 2003 sectional and district champion for his weight class, and was the 2003 state runner-up. In both sports, Jeremy was honored by being a 2-time captain of both teams. I'd like to welcome Jeremy to the stage.
Thank you very much. Good morning, afternoon, whatever time it is. Nervous? Not at all. Is my voice shaking? Not at all. What's not up there, and what I used to call him Coach Jackson, BYSA. That's the softball rec league here. I think we were 3-time, 4-time champs. And what's not up there is I actually hit a home run off of Justin Masterson. That didn't happen. But a couple things. If I go too long, you can tell me to be quiet. I'm not that sensitive. As you heard from the other wrestlers, we are crazy, sort of. If you ask my family, they would agree. I guess the craziest thing I've ever done with wrestling was actually going out for the sport, or cutting 40 pounds in 2 weeks, whatever. I did actually. A lot of people asked me if I was going to write a speech. I said no, but I usually fib a lot. So I wrote one. I told Justin I had a PowerPoint. I told Allison I was going to write a poem. But first, bear with me. Man, I'm a lot more nervous than I thought I would be. If I pass out, I hope someone's... Allison, if I pass out. First, I want to congratulate all the inductees of this class and the class prior, and all the other inductees. I'd also like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for the great honor and their great patience with my lack of responses, of emails. If you were on that committee, you probably heard Clingner has not responded. Smeagol has not responded. So, you know, it's wrestlers. And it's wrestling season, so we're kind of busy. I see Brian right there, which brings me another story, but I'll get to that. Let's start with stories and I'll end with thanks. Stories. Brian Smeagol and Jared Martin, when I was in junior high, let me back up. In 3rd grade, I started playing football. And all my life, I wanted to be an NFL football player. That's all I wanted to be. Didn't play any other sports. Actually, I was a speed skating champ when I was 5 years old. But I didn't want to do anything else. And then as I got through Eager Beaver, the great program that is, got to junior high, kept playing football. But a good buddy of mine, Josh Sizemore, his dad asked me if I ever thought about wrestling. And I said, there's no way. Because someone brought up husky pants earlier. And that's what I grew up on, husky pants and sweatpants. Husky jeans, that is. But, so there's no way I was going to wear one of those singlets because I was kind of chunky. But anyways, I went out for the sport, fell in love with it. Jared Martin, Brian, they were in high school, and I heard their names. My sister was same years as them, so I knew who they were. I always looked up to them, so that was something special. Kept playing football and went to high school, and I remember Coach Martin, Gary Martin, who my sophomore year, he said something during practice. A lot of the players did not like, all the upperclassmen, but he said something about a diamond in the rough, or whatever the saying is, and the upperclassmen did not like that. I'm pretty sure I got a knee to the chest, and like an elbow, whatever. But that right there instilled a lot of confidence in me, and I remember Coach Wise, we were sitting at a tournament or something, and a couple buddies and myself, we were talking about all these other wrestlers, upperclassmen. Hey, did you hear about John Smith and Bill and whatever? And Coach Wise overheard us, and he said something to me, and I took it to the heart. He said, quit talking about those guys and just be one of those guys. So throughout high school, I remembered that, and yeah, I don't know where it's going with it. Let me stick to my script here. All right, I would not be here if it wasn't for multiple people. I wouldn't have achieved the things I did without all these people. Like I said, Coach Gary Martin and Coach Dave Miller Sr., they supported me. I remember Coach Miller bringing me to colleges to check out and all that, and he'd always make fun of me because I'd always fall asleep in the car. I sleep better in cars. It must be the motion. But thanks to those wrestling coaches, Coach Walsh, Tim Walsh, Coach Lamont Bulgaris, Coach Mike Sizemore, and Coach Gary Wise, and I honestly, I never even thought about being in the Hall of Fame. Other people talk about it. I never really talk about it. But I kind of thought in my head, if I ever had the opportunity to make it in the Hall of Fame, and if Coach Wise would make it here, which I was surprised he was here because we have wrestling tournaments going on this weekend, and he's probably sitting back there saying, hurry up, I gotta leave, we have a tournament. But I've never had the opportunity to actually tell him, thank you very much for all you've done for me in my high school and college career. I remember going to Wilmington the first 2 weeks. I did not want to be there. I was homesick, I was soft. A lot of people have been crying today, but I was crying on the phone. I was calling my mom, crying. She said, call Coach Wise. It's not a good person to call if you're crying and you're a guy. But I remember calling him, and he just basically said, suck it up. So coming from Coach Wise, I was like, you're fine, Jeremy, you're gonna be okay. So I just thank you very much, Gary. I now have the great privilege of coaching with him, and now I know the things that he used to say when I was on the mat. Now I know what he was saying, you know what I mean. A story, Jared, cars, borrowing cars. In college, one of my 25 cars I've had, not good luck for cars, but one of my cars broke down, and Coach Wise, hey, we have this extra car in the driveway, no one's driving it, it's all yours as long as you need it or until we need it back. So it was awesome. He let me borrow his car while I was in college. The unfortunate part was someone kicked the side mirror, and I was afraid to tell him that someone kicked it off, and I was in college. How am I going to pay for this? And I don't even know if I've ever paid him for it. But he still owes me money for painting, so it's... all right, let's keep rock and rolling here. See, I got off my script. Teachers, high school teachers that I had, principals, ADs, I want to thank them. I also want to thank all my family members that are here, aunts, sisters, nephew, niece, is the little darling with a little ponytail on her head, she's such a cutie. My future in-laws, my future, she's not my future fiance, she's actually my future wife, but my fiance, although they are from Carroll, but for Christmas, they all got Beavercreek wrestling shirts, so it's all good. And the one person that I haven't thanked yet, and is by far the greatest influence that I've had in my life, and that's my, dang it. It's my mom. If it wasn't for her, I would have never played football growing up. There were multiple times where I wanted to quit in 3rd and 4th grade because I couldn't find my belt or my thigh pad, or I just did not want to. And my mom's one of the toughest persons I know, and she would always just be in the driveway not playing football with me, but passing the football with me. And she's here. Hey, Mom. But without her, I would not be the person that I am today. I wouldn't have the work ethic. I wouldn't have the positive attitude. She's made it easy for me to wake up every morning and just look at the world and say, you know, I hate to say it, but it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. And she's always told me just to look to the positive side, and she's a pretty awesome lady. Some of you know her. I remember her telling stories. Am I going too long? Yes, I know. Sorry. Coach Wise knows this story. My senior year, my mom, and I don't blame her, and wrestling parents, you understand, but sitting in those tournaments, as Jared was talking about, gets kind of boring, kind of long. You have to find a hobby. And back then, there weren't iPads and Facebook and all that, and which was only 10 years ago, class of 2003. She would only come to my duel. She'd be at the duel meets, and then she would only come to my tournaments if I was either in the semifinals or the finals. So I looked at that as a challenge because I did not expect her to be there in the first round, second round to watch. So that kind of drove me to make it to the finals. And I'm going to quit talking, but Mom, I love you. Thank you for everything you've done for me. And everyone else, thank you for listening to me. And have a wonderful day.